Hello, and welcome to Team Alberio's presentation of ophcrack, a Windows password cracking software. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how a tool like ophcrack can be used to recover lost or forgotten passwords. Since this is a forensics class, we would like to demonstrate how a cyber forensics analyst can use this tool to recover password if the user refuses to reveal it or cannot remember it themselves. Ophcrack uses the SAM file on the Windows system to extract user accounts, LM hashes, and uses rainbow tables to crack them. Rainbow tables are simply pre-computed tables for reversing cryptographic hash functions like LM hashes. To start off, we would like to show you where and how to download ophcrack. Ophcrack is a free open source program and can be found on the website ophcrack.sourceforge.net. This is their home screen. Ophcrack can be downloaded and used as a program or as a live CD. The live CD can be written to either a disk or a USB drive. In this presentation, we will download the XP Live CD, which comes with a few XP tables already installed. If you are interested in trying to crack Windows Vista or 7 passwords, or even cracking German passwords, there are additional tables available for download on the website as well. Our presentation of ophcrack is done in a virtual machine. Before we boot the machine, we will go into the settings and show you how it is formatted. In the storage menu of the settings, there are two items under the storage tree. One is the ISO file of the ophcrack live CD. The virtual machine recognizes this is a live CD just like a real computer would see a disk in its disk drive. The second item is called target.vdi. The .vdi file is the virtual hard drive of the Windows XP system and is where XP is booted from. Under the system menu of the settings, you can see we have the machine set to boot from the .vdi file first and boot from the CD second. These settings would be controlled in the BIOS of a real computer. Back in the Oracle Box main screen, we select the machine called Target and hit Start. The virtual machine will turn on and boot into Windows XP. In the logon screen, there are 3 accounts and a guest account. The guest account has no password, but we want to log on as a user. Our feeble attempt at logging on fails, so we reboot the computer. Instead of allowing the virtual machine to reboot using the hard drive, we hit the F12 key, which opens up the virtual machine's equivalent of the BIOS. Here we hit the letter C, which correlates with booting from the CD drive. Now the computer will boot using the ophcrack live CD. The ophcrack live CD splash screen gives us several options on how to load ophcrack. In this lab, since we are using a virtual machine, we select ophcrack graphic mode low RAM. In this setting, the tables are not fully preloaded to save RAM. Upon hitting enter, ophcrack begins to load. Depending on your language and keyboard, you will make a different selection, but we have selected a typical US English and US QWERTY keyboard setup. The ophcrack program opens immediately upon the completion of the boot process. The screen is split into 2 sections horizontally. The top half contains all the accounts that were found in the SAM file. The lower half shows which rainbow tables are loaded in the progress bar for each. Ophcrack also utilizes a brute force attack along with the rainbow tables whose programs can be seen in the bottom of the screen, along with the number of passwords found and the time elapsed. Back to the top half of the interface, there are 6 fields that contain information. The first field is labeled User, and it displays the user account names. The second column is the LM hash column, and it contains the LM hash values associated with the user account. Notice not all the user accounts have an LM hash, and since the XP tables we are using are meant for LM hashes, those accounts without an LM hash will not be cracked. The third column is the NT hash column, and for the purpose of this demonstration will not be used. The last 3 columns are the ones we are most interested in. They are the LM password 1, LM password 2, and NT password. The reason there is a column 1 and column 2 for the LM password is because in the LM hashing algorithm, the fixed length password is split into 2 7-byte halves. When ophcrack has completed cracking of an account, the full password appears in the NT password column. After waiting patiently for 5 minutes and 20 seconds, ophcrack has completed its work and we now have the 3 passwords. The accounts without an LM hash came back not found, but all the enabled accounts with a LM hash were found. Before leaving the ophcrack screen, there are some items of interest inside the Statistics tab. Many of the statistics in the statistics page are not important to the average user, but it is interesting to see how ophcrack found 5 of the matches in the tables and 2 of the matches in brute force. That means 2 of the passwords were cracked with brute force and the third was found with the rainbow table. Also under statistics is the graph function. The graph is another good visual tool to see how hard ophcrack had to work to crack the passwords. There is a graph for crack time, password length, and complexity of the passwords. At this point, you could write down the passwords associated with each account, or you can save the results of the session to a text file or export to CSV file type. We selected to save all a text file and saved it to the desktop. Upon opening the file, the account names, hashes, and correct passwords are all written in one line per account. Now let's put those cracked passwords to the test. We rebooted the virtual machine and this time let it boot in its normal sequence with .vdi first. Back at the Windows XP login screen, we selected Bert Bacharach and entered the corresponding password. As expected, we now have access to his account. To make sure the others work, go to the Start menu and switch users. Most of the other passwords allowed entry to the system and any information that may be important to the forensic investigation. In summary, the ophcrack IST allowed us to dump the SAM file from the Windows system and crack the LM hashes to discover the password for each account. It was done with minimum hardware or know-how, and the entire process took around 10 minutes. Though XP is an older system, Windows systems are still 91% of the market share, and of that 91%, 42.5% are Windows XP systems, making ophcrack still a viable tool. After viewing this demonstration, we hope that you all have a better understanding of why choosing a complex password is beneficial to your own security. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed this demonstration from Team Alberio.